Dennis Itumbi has been very
and
vocal.
You can't see through.
He's been very vocal.
He's not vocal. He's being stupid. Who is Itumbi? Is Itumbi a minister for? Is he the minister for culture?
Now, this is simply not acceptable, and it will not pass. Mambo ni matatu.
We don't fear Moses Kuria, for God's sake. What happens to people when they get to power?
What happened? I mean, he's trade minister, right?
I don't care. I don't care. Trade, what business, what trade? What does it have to do with what I'm doing?
Did you listen to the Hot Breakfast this morning? Here's what you missed.
Music Copyright Society of Kenya has been under a lot of heat lately. What's going on? There's an AGM, and then a lot of people on social media said they had lost like 56 million shillings unaccounted for. We want to know what's going on. Musicians getting that money they get, but what is it?
1,250 cents.
Wow.
Saudi sold, and they shared it equally amongst themselves.
All four of them.
Yes. So you've said it's a primarily limited company,
yes,
which means it's a profit-making.
It's actually a non-profit making.
So that's why it's private limited.
In the sense that the role of collective management organizations in respect to copyright administration is that musicians come together voluntarily and form an organization, a CMO, okay, like MCSK, and they give deeds of assignment to that CMO to collect royalties on their behalf. The reason being, an artist may not be able to go to every club where their music is being played, to every radio station, to every matatu, to every public place where their music is played. So they hand over the deeds of assignment voluntarily. It's a membership organization. You join by choice, and you can live by choice. Like Nonini, the guy who's making noise, he was a member of MCSK. He wrote to us and said he has relocated to the US and he wants to join a CMO there. The law does not allow him to belong to two CMOs. That's the way it is, by the way. So he requested that we terminate his membership, which we did. We did, in a very contour way. I'm the one who signed the letter. In fact, when he started the process, I was not at MCSK, but I found the process quite advanced in May last year, and I approved. Because you have to do due diligence. The same way, if you're joining MCSK, you don't just come, apply, and you become a member there and then. We go through due diligence to confirm that the copyright is yours. Because you have to register your works with MCSK. Say this song, the Kikwetu, whatever you call it, is my song. And so you come, sign, and register those the catalogs of your works, and then we do due diligence. We do it from the regions because MCSK is structured across the country. We have regional offices in every part of the country, and so there are people who at least can confirm that this is your music, that they know you. We do due diligence so that we confirm, because copyright is a private property. It's yours. So all we are doing, just the same way there is a land search and things like that, is to ensure that we register that copyright under you. Then when you are joining, you come, you sign a form, you fill your next of kin, because copyright subsists during your lifetime and 50 years after death. So you also need to ensure that you take this as serious business and as your inheritance to your children. So you also give us your next of kin. It's a very fair process above board, and CMOs are not unique to Kenya. CMOs are everywhere. In Uganda, in Tanzania, in Malawi.
So what is Nonini's beef then?
Nonini used to run an organization, another CMO called Prisky. He was the chairman actually for many years. And he was a total failure. He was a flop. You know what it means? A flop, real one.
Let me go.
Then he was also a director of another thing called Mpake. In 2017, Kenya Corporate Board snatched the license from MCSK and gave it to another organization called Music Publishers Association, Mpake. Nonini was a director there. Him, BK, Kioko, some guy called Ngemu. Some of these fellows who are walking around in town making a lot of noise. They can't believe we are reforming this thing, because they were used to just doing business and doing managing stuff with the organization. So their beef is that they were told, quit this thing, we are killing it, and we're giving you an alternative. Unfortunately, Ezekiel Mutua happened, and it's not dying.
So these are
striving, we are taking on cartels head on. We don't fear them, we only fear God. Tongopa Mungu peke. Nyashiski's song inspires me, Mungu peke. So these cartels we've seen tyrants, Jeff, We've seen tyrants, powerful people. Forget about these small buggers in town who are threatening people. No, these are cartels who have vested interest, who registered premium rights service providers, companies, and started becoming middlemen and brokers. So instead of an artist getting paid directly, there are so many companies that are being formed that take the money and then they pay the musician. Now, you understand the business of music. Not everybody who is in music is rich or educated.
Yes.
Most of them, they only have the talent. Some of it just in mother tongue. They have just the creativity in their mind. And they may not be knowledgeable about the business of running corporate or managing their business. So they have been taken advantage of by cartels in government, by politicians, by these PRSPs. Let me tell you, Jeff and Nick, there's a time we used to run skiza tunes, bring back tunes.
As MCSK.
As MCSK. There's a day we paid one musician 23 million. Not long ago. Yeah, that guy's a Kenyan, a friend of both of you.
23 million.
Do you hear him talk?
No.
It's only cartels and the people who are not interested with the growth of the industry.
But there are others who complain, by the
Like
way.
who?
Calligraph Jones.
Calligraph used to complain that he was paid how much. And I think it was also wrong, because this is the organization who can live. Like I said, Nonini left. If it's not benefiting you, why are you staying on? Because this is like a chama. Jeff, if we agree to form a chama to empower ourselves economically, why would I stay there if I'm being oppressed and I don't agree with the policies of the leadership? In December, we were called, the president appointed a new guy called Kutunyi. Kutunyi was appointed the chairman of corporate board. And they said, following, of course, a push that had been done very well by C.E.O. Ababu Namwamba. That's one guy I respect. That's one guy who has understanding. I wish we had ministers like those. Now, Ababu was saying, you guys, we have given you license, we have gazetted new tariffs, we are supporting you with enforcement. For once, let us see musicians paid something reasonable. Fat checks, he said. So we were to do it in December. We went and met the president in State House, and we committed. This was in July when we had this conversation. We said in December, during Jamhuri Day, which was dedicated to the creative economy, the CMOs will give money. So in between, the mandate changed through executive order, and we under Aisha Jumwa, and Kutunyi is appointed. And we go to see the CS, and the question she was asking is, what have you set aside for distribution? She starts with the Prisk. They say, we have nothing. Waziri.
Prisk have nothing.
Camp, we have nothing.
What do you mean?
I say, Waziri, I've been sent by my board to ask you to come or to tell the president that we have 20 million that we want to distribute. At least we are doing something out of the support we have gotten from the government.
How come they have nothing?
That's a question you should be asking. That's what I'm telling you. The conversation we are having and these things like Kenaitumbe and Moses Kuria say, it's not about integrity. This nonsense you are seeing being... when did you see a guy working in State House? For God's sake, respect that office. Perpetuating lies and peddling them and posting them on social media. A letter ostensibly supposed to be investigation by ethics and corruption, and it's been rounds being done from State House.
We've seen it, by the way. Dennis Itumbi has been very
And
vocal.
you can't sit through.
He's been very vocal.
He's not vocal. He's being stupid. That's not vocal. You don't circulate. If ESCC is investigating, you call people to ESCC. They write a statement. ESCC is a constitutional body. It's not a monster to harass people. Who is Itumbi? Is Itumbi a minister for? Is he the minister for culture? Is he the minister for arts? Is Moses Kuria the minister in charge of this docket? Why do you think they are talking? Jeff, you are a journalist. You should challenge this kind of nonsense and call out to those people. What is their interest? They are not the ones in charge of this docket. This docket right now is under Aisha Juma. She is the CS in charge of culture, the arts, and the heritage. That's how governments work. Then the other mandate, which is closely related, is with the CS Ababu Namwamba, which is digital, which is a creative economy, youth affairs, and so on. At least I can understand if it was CS Ababu. This docket, as one of the best PSs, Umi Bashir, very professional. Why are these other guys talking? Are they Is there no government? Is there no government structure? The Naivasha today, I hope it will present a paper for this docket or Moses Kuria, because they are not the ones in charge. And for the government to function in an orderly manner, they should let the minister or the CS and the PS in charge of the department run it.
Dr. Let me read a tweet that CS Moses Kuria sent the other day.
Yes.
I'm sure you saw it. It says, Music Copyright Society of Kenya has been in office for the last 6 years. They say they want to extend their term irregularly in a special general meeting on Friday the 18th. Now, this is simply not acceptable and it will not pass. Mambo ni matatu. Hey, even stealing has a term limit.
The meeting took place. He said it will not happen. It happened. Number two, it was not about anybody extending their term. In fact, it was to ratify the elections of MCSK to take place on 15th of April. And I corrected him. You are not reading my that. I corrected him immediately.
Yes.
So probably saw the light. But the meeting took place, and it was a very good meeting. And we are not budging, by the way. We don't fear Moses Kuria, for God's sake. What happens to people when they get to power?
What happened? I mean, he's trade minister, right?
I don't care. I don't care. Trade, what business, what trade? What does it have to do with what I'm doing? We are not going to breathe because Moses Kuria, he runs Fanaka, which is as PSRP. It is holding over 4 billion for artists.
And
He's conflicted. That's why he's bringing all the shenanigans so that we don't focus on him. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter how long it takes. They can jail us, they can torture us. One of the things I like about President William Ruto, he taught us that you can take on the deep state and the system. We cannot operate in a country. Why did you go to school, Jeff, if you're going to be harassed by all manner of people in town when you have not done anything wrong? And even if they were to malign us and fabricate lies about us, we will not be the first ones. So I want to tell them, Wasomelebo, we are not here to be scared by small people.
Let me take us back to this Fanaka situation and the 4 billion. So what's stopping them from paying off artists, and what can
because
artists do?
It's a private company, just like MCSK.
So what's stopping them?
If you can't hold Fanaka to account, and you can't hold the other PSRPs to account, please stop maligning CMOs. CMOs are established by law, okay? And musicians, out of their own volition, decided to become members of MCSK.
Okay.
By the way, nothing stops the government, including Moses Kuria, from forming a CMO. Nothing stops even the government from forming their own CMO. But do you know what they are doing? They are demanding, and that's why they're asking for letters like those. We did not go for that meeting, by the way. That letter that you are reading, that is written to anti-corruption, that letter is citing a meeting of 25th of January. 25th of January, we were in Safari Park the whole day distributing money to musicians. We ran a public notice that would do it. What did these guys do? Knowing that we are now straight and we are going to change this narrative, they decided to call CMOs to go to NHIF, to Kekobo's office, to present their documents. And do you know what they're looking for? They're looking for something called National Rights Registry. They want our metadata to enter into that system of the government run now by Kenaitumbe. Give the credit to people like those because they are very good with the digital environment. So they want, instead of going to register their own CMO and calling musicians to join that one, they want to take the metadata of a private company and load it on the National Rights Registry, NRR, and use it to pay. You know, the metadata, it's like if I'm a customer of Equity, of an employee of Royal Media Services, I've given you my details, including my next of kin, my ID, and everything. That is what makes this company what it is. It's a contract between you and them. If somebody wants to employ you, let you live here and you go and join that other one. You don't get the metadata of Royal Media Services to go and use it to start another company, another media house. You know this kind of shenanigans, that's what they're doing. So we said no, we are not going to attend those kind of meetings. We are a private company. We have our own internal audit systems. We declared that we are distributing 20 million. That is the day we were in Safari Park. We were doing it above board. Why would you call a meeting on a critical day like that when we're distributing for the first time in many years and we're doing it publicly? Instead of Kekobo actually coming, we were expecting them to come and give a speech and say kudos MCSK. at least we can see light at the end of the tunnel. They call for some meeting in some dingy place. You should go to those offices and look at them. It's a shame to have people like this. You find an old man with a checked coat, looking haggard and stupid. And he has been there for years, by the way. And he never leaves. The only claim to the reason why Sigay and the Kutunya are holding that office is because they are Kalenjins.
That's it.
The only claim to that office is because they are Kalenjins. And now they think they can run roughshod on us. Sorry, we have God.
So what happens? Because you said this one, you said you distributed 20 million. But you also say every week you distribute money.
Corporate business is an ecosystem. So you can't blame one party. It has the artists, it has the CMO, it has the government, including the ministry in charge, and it has the consumers of music. Okay? All those players must work seamlessly. There must actually be tariffs gazetted by the government, and there must be enforcement, police to accompany our officers to go and collect money, because I can't go and stop a matatu and say, you know, do you guys have a license for playing the music you're playing? No musician can do that on their own. You need government, you need police to support you. Just the same way, if somebody encroaches on your land, Nick, you don't just say you take arrows and fight. In a democracy, you ask the police. You tell them somebody has encroached on your land. So corporate is a private property. So you call the police. You need the police to enforce. And that's what we are doing. What happened from 2017, I told you the license was taken away, given to another body called Mpake, collected the money. It was run by Kinanonini, wound up in 2019. Between that period, this is a company, and I can tell you it can happen to you. If you are denied your license from Communications Authority of Kenya, and they say that you're not allowed to broadcast, okay, what recourse do you have? You go to court. You're spending money. In the meantime, you have workers, you have offices, you have bills to run. For 2 years, MCSK went into debt because of that decision. Okay? When the license was given back, when I joined in 2022, late 2022, we had debt of 340 million. Now we have cleared them. We are finishing in June. We are starting on a clean slate. We collect about 200 million, the 3 CMOs, I told you, and we share. Okay? It's not much. Even if you look at the 54% that MCSK gets, 54% of 200 is 108. If you divide that by every month, it comes to about 9 million. My friend, I have salaries to pay. I have office rents to pay. The collection of royalties is not a conveyor belt. It's not like money comes directly to us. We have officers right now in the field who are going collecting. So there are costs. And this is a private company. Jeff, there are costs attendant to what we are doing today. It's not a conveyor belt. So, this station is not just airing by chance.
Apparently your salaries total 57 million shillings
per year,
and there's something called distribution, which comes to about 10 million.
You are quoting that thing. Please quote credible documents. You are a journalist.
You're refusing.
Yes, I dismiss that thing.
You dismiss it.
Anybody can say anything. Okay? Don't quote that thing. It was done, I told you it was done the day we were distributing. All right? And I've told you the other 2 other CMOs that have not distributed to date, and nobody has an issue with it. It's not about integrity. So we are audited. We go through processes. We file our returns as required by the law. If they wanted authentic information from MCSK, they would have let us finish the event at Safari Park and then ask us to come and account. In any case, the distribution is ongoing. How do you audit a process that is ongoing? We ran a public notice in the newspapers on the 9th of January, and we said distribution will start on 25th of January and will run all the way to 29th of March. We are still ongoing. It's just 3 weeks down the line. How do you audit a process that is ongoing and declare that salaries are more than the money we are distributing? In any case, you are quoting 10 million. I'm talking about what we declared, and it's in the paper. I want to show you that Gazette notice. In other words, it's not about the truth. These guys are just trying to find for something. You see this notice? This was in the newspapers on 9th of January. And it says Music Corporate Society of Kenya is a company limited by guarantee and so on, and says the board of directors of MCSK wishes to notify its members its members. One, that pursuant to the provisions of Article 30 and 40 of MCSK Memorandum and Articles of Association, read with the provisions of Article 15 of MCSK Distribution Rules, MCSK shall distribute royalties for performance in public places, PPP, in the national broadcasting class, which will commence 25th of January and run until 29th of March. This was in the Daily Nation.
Let me ask you, and to make it more cost effective to run MCSK, are you incorporating maybe streamlining the systems?
We have deployed technology. In fact, just 2 weeks ago, we ended the bids, we opened the bids, and we are deploying technology for collection so that you can see on your phone how much is coming. By the way, that technology used to be there. The same company that we're giving this job used to do it until, I think, 2015, when the cartels again came in and destroyed everything, and we could not afford the company. But it's expensive to have that technology, but it's a way to enhance governance and enhance transparency. So we have gone through that process, advertised, and we opened the bids, and we have now awarded a company that is going to be doing this. You will be able, an artist will be able to see on their phone how much money is coming out of their music. In any case, Jeff, the amount of money that we are paying is based on logs from your companies as consumers of music. We got logs from Royal Media Services, all your stations, that show exactly how much your music is performing. It's not rocket science. So we are using your logs because you are the consumers. You give us the log sheets and we analyze and we show this is how much your music was played so many times. One airplay is so much. You multiply, you get the gross minus withholding tax because we pay taxes. Then you get the net pay. Very scientific.
Okay, what is it about Dr. Ezekiel Mutua that causes controversy all the time? What is it?
No, I just fight demons. I mean, it's my DNA. I was a school captain of Ikumini Primary School when I was a kid. I was a head boy in the village.
In the village?
Yes. I was the school captain and CEO chairman of Tala High School when I did my A-levels. And I've been a leader all my life. I live above board. I was just having a retirement party for my former primary school teacher just 2 weekends ago with the likes of Kyoko Kelukumi, the president's lawyer, celebrating. You know, we are straight in the village, we are straight in the city. But we live in a country where truth is called lie and lie is called truth, and you can't get to know, and that's why we are in this kind of confusion. So, but there's no controversy about this. We're just dealing with issues.
What do you tell the likes of Itumbi and Moses Kuria and all those people who are coming after you? And
there's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, you know, Jeff, if you are to keep checking on every dog that is barking on the way, you never arrive at your destination.
Are you calling them dogs? Are you?
If that's what you imply, what I mean, that's a phrase. You just focus on the goal and move on. You will have distractions. By the way, if you're building anything, do you know, and forgive me to quote this, but when I was Secretary General of KUJ in 2001, I went through the trenches with Dr. S.K. Masharia. And I saw him build this thing from nothing. I saw people raid this place during Moist time. I was the Secretary General of KUJ, so I used to be everywhere. You touch a media house and I used to be there. It was not easy. But see the success of this enterprise that he has built. Building is not easy, and if you really want to do the right thing in this country, you're going to face a lot of challenges, you'll be misunderstood, and there must be such. You know, there must be people who are willing to take the hit and do the job. And I get it done.
And let me ask you, what can musicians do after hearing all you said about the cartels and some of these people who do not remit? What can musicians do for their own rights and for their own benefit? Because or are they at the end of the day, all this is because of their effort, their music. What can they do to really streamline and get more out of their work?
First of all, there was an important point I wanted to tell you, Jeff, that royalties from CMOs are probably the 5th or 7th in terms of ranking of revenue for artists.
What do you mean 5th or 7th?
Yeah. There's money from their own streaming, their own public performance and concerts. They don't just say they are poor because of MCSK. You see the kind of nonsense we're dealing with. Okay, you have to produce good music and market it. The people like in a Calligraph Jones actually don't care about the 1,200 that they are sent.
True.
Because they know for sure South Soul doesn't depend on CMOs to survive.
Yes.
It is not the way it works. Even countries that are rich, and this is one of the music industry is one of the richest. The most, the places where we have the richest people. They run their business. What I want to call on our artists to do is to understand how copyright business works. Because like I told you, many of them are talented, and we have quite amazing talent in this country. Great musicians, great artists, great creators. That we have amazing people. What the problem is, many of them do not know the business of copyright. Like to know CMOs are good, so I register my copyright with them and let them do their job. Then I need to brand myself properly, do right content, and promote it and market it and become a brand that is sought after, so that you can go and perform. You see, like in Central, in Mulima, Mount Kenya region.
Yes.
Some of those star musicians, Kikuyu musicians, singing in the vernacular, the likes of Samindo, they don't rely on MCSK. Even on a weekday like today, on a Monday, if you call Samindo to perform, or some of those star musicians in Central Province, they will not charge you less than 100,000. They are making money. So they are not just sitting there and waiting for, the shenanigans in the CMOs. No, they are making money. That's why I was telling you, it is probably the fifth. Then there is also the issue of Skiza Tunes. Skiza Tunes, do you know how many billions it meant last year?
Tell me.
A lot. At least not less than 2 billion. Check the record. Okay? How come you're interested with 200 million and you're not interested with 2 billion? Even US journalists, are you doing justice to this country? Because if Skiza Tunes collected 2 billion, we need to know how much went to the artists. Why are we not interested in that story? 2 billion.
That's a lot.
And I told you, when we used to administer Skiza Tunes, we paid an artist 23 million.
Yeah.
It's on record.
We know the name.
Yes, you know the name. You mentioned it here. So that the story is being twisted for these cartels to thrive. So the money they are making as the blood of our children, and they know they are twisting the story to divert attention, because there is a lot of money in this. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. This is where the money is. You don't need to become a minister. Just get this thing sorted. And musicians will be landing in choppers. They'll be rich. They'll not be begging. The culture of artists having to beg when they fall sick, we have to fundraise, will end with this regime that I'm leading right now as the CEO. Yes. Now you can see the changes. I've been there for all long. And we just needed professional leadership. Now I saw somebody saying about the money we spend on salaries. My friend, to revive a moribund body like this, to give it professional leadership, to be able to come to your program early in the morning and articulate issues, you don't need a danda head. And if you want quality leadership, you got MCSK has to operate like Equity, like Safaricom. That's what I'm looking at. But why do you want a guy who is paid 150,000 and is the one running, and you want him to come to your show and talk at the same level with your CEO? How? Number two, we went to school well. Where were people when we were learning at night?
Yes.
My friend, I pursued my master's and PhD at night. And for the record, I did my master's at the University of Nairobi. The University of Nairobi. We were doing 13 units. I scored 11 A's and 2 B's. The record is there.
But tell us, where could you be in the next 6 months?
No. I'm looking at the end of the year. The repertoire of MCSK members' music on Google, on YouTube, used to be paid at 1.7% since 2015. I joined, we traveled to South Africa, formed a body called Capaso, Africa Digital Hub, and we negotiated in October last year and increased that amount from 1.7% to 16.5%. Okay. Now these guys who are writing those letters used to lie that MCSK used to get about 200 million from Capaso. It's not true. They used to bring 3 to 4 million quarterly. So that would be about 12 million. And with all those debts and the kind of shenanigans, by the way, when the government does not do its part and we have to go to court, like we are likely to go, we end up spending the same musicians' money on litigation. So this is what happened. We went and talked to Google. We enrolled with the African Digital Platform. We are one of the newest members as a country. Negotiated our repertoire on YouTube to 16.5%. We are waiting for the first payment, and I can tell you, if they were giving us 3 to 4 million quarterly, you can just do the math.
Do the math.
They have not paid us.
Times 16.
Yeah, they are saying there are issues with their system. We have letters. We are operating above board. We are not just a bunch of guys who are greedy and want to eat. The greedy ones are the ones who are talking. And you can see the flash lifestyle they are living. Where are they getting their money from?
Dr. Next time we should have Dennis Itumbi and you in the same room.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Give us a date. Call him and give us a date. Let him come with evidence. I'll come with all the documents that you want.